What's up, y'all? June 13th, 2025, Friday morning. I'm at the World Trade Center. Follow me on Podcast Was Sold on Spotify, and the Podcast Was Sold on Instagram. Thank you in advance. I want to thank everybody that supported me, all of the Cash Apps and all of the Super Chats when I go live. Thank you. And if I don't get to mention you in the Super Chat while I'm live, it's not a diss or not that I'm unappreciative, because I'm very appreciative. Thank you. It's just that the chat is moving so fast I can't see who gives and who don't. But I'm thankful. Yesterday in the court, Jason Driscoll, who was an attorney for Puffy, TKO'd Maureen Comey, who was the lead. I think she's the lead federal prosecutor in the prosecution team prosecuting Puff. And this was a sight to behold, right? Jason Driscoll showed everybody in the court, including Judge Submarinian, that prior preparation prevents poor performance. When I was in school at Morris Brown, there was a dude in my class. He was from Tennessee. He was country. And he talked real country. He was in the military. His name was Mario Avery. And we had a class together. I think it might have been money or banking or something like that. And we used to compete, see who used to get the highest grades on quizzes and tests. And of course, I used to beat him and win every time. But he used to tell me, hey Gumby, you know the 5 P's, man? You know the 5 P's? I said, the 5 P's? What you talking about? Prior planning prevents poor performance. Prior planning prevents poor performance. And he used to say this to me all of the time. And I used to look at him like he was crazy, right? Because I'm 20 years old, can't nobody tell me nothing. He the same age, we young men in college. But nothing could have been more profound than him saying that prior planning prevents poor performance. And yesterday, Jason Driscoll exhibited that in the courtroom. Let me set it up for you. Jane Doe, who was on the stand testifying, had done some personal diary notes in her phone about how she was feeling, about her relationship, her situationship with Puffy. Now, these notes that she was writing in her phone were post Cassie lawsuit, after Cassie's lawsuit, post Cassie's settlement, after Cassie got her settlement, and her, Jane Doe, having the knowledge of Cassie's settlement. And we know that after Cassie filed the lawsuit, Jane Doe's attitude toward Puff and around Puffy changed. And she wrote these notes, and the prosecution, and Maureen Comey specifically, wanted to enter one of these notes into evidence in the case to sway the jury. And Puffy's defense argued that no, these notes are very prejudicial. They can prejudice the jury. Although Jane Doe hasn't filed a lawsuit yet, she ain't filed one yet, but she done told Puffy she wanted $100,000. This is after Cassie's lawsuit. She wanted $100,000 a year for her pain and suffering in their relationship, and to continue to pay the rent. It came up to something like $450,000. But being that she hadn't filed a lawsuit yet doesn't mean that she can't file one later, provided Puffy is convicted. So Puffy's legal team was arguing, and Jason Driscoll specifically was arguing that she has the motivation and the incentive to fabricate her story and lie, right? And put lighter fluid and gasoline on her story in order to sway the jury, right? To get a conviction of Puff, so then she could come right behind and file her civil suit. And Jason Driscoll, let me tell y'all something, man. Hey, yo, Jason Driscoll, shout out to you, man. You showed and proved, man. You know, there's a saying that we have in the streets in the New York City metropolitan area, right? That you gotta show and prove. If you say something, then show and prove. Show and prove. Make me see it. And man, you showed and proved in the courtroom yesterday to everybody that you don't fuck around. And I'm impressed, man. Shout out to you. Maureen Comey was trying her damnedest. She yelling at the judge. She's raising her voice in her counter arguments. And Jason Driscoll was cool as a fan while he was making his points. And it came down to this. The judge sat back, Judge Submarinian sat back and let them fight it out. He said, what you got to say? And Maureen Comey jumped up, well, Your Honor, I think this and that. She yelling, you know, getting all aggressive. And then Judge Submarinian sit back and say, well, Mr. Driscoll, what do you got to say? And Jason went and cited case law, precedents, United States versus Forrester, Rule 802B- subsection I1, whatever it was, and this doesn't violate Rule 403. And Judge Submarinian wasn't even aware of this. And Judge Submarinian, he wasn't aware, and he trying to like throw Jason off a little bit and give himself some time to catch his breath. And he said, Jason, what page, what's the citation? What's the name of the case? And Jason said, sure, Your Honor. Looked down at his laptop, said page 537, 538. Gave him the case and all of that. And the judge said, it got quiet. Then the judge said, what page is that again? 537, 538. He says, hold on a second, you gotta give me some time. I'm looking this up in Westlaw. My point is, and then when it came back to Maureen Comey, she said, Judge, can we handle this when we take our 10-minute break so I can take a look at what's going on? Listen, that nigga Jason Driscoll, white dude, that nigga had everything ready. He was ready. He was ready. He was prepared. And when the spotlight shined from over there on Agnifilo and Miss Shapiro and Garagos and Nicole Westmoreland, Brian Steele, and he got his chance to shine, he shined. He shined. And then Judge Submarinian finally got the case law that Jason Driscoll was talking about, and he said, well, let's take a 15-minute break so I could go take a look at this. And they went and took the break. But it was inspirational for me, and it was class. It was a lesson for me, right? Jason Driscoll took me to school, but I've always been on this, that a nigga gotta be ready, right? Opportunity is like a jealous woman, man. If you don't pay opportunity no attention, she will leave you. When it comes your time to shine, you got to bring your A game right then. The home runs and the RBIs that you hit and the strikeouts that you do in the regular season don't mean nothing come September and October when you playing meaningful games. The rushing yards and the touchdown passes you threw in the regular season don't count. What counts is when you playing in the NFC Championship. or the wild card game, or the Super Bowl, when the lights is the brightest, can you show up and perform? And Jason showed everybody in the court, man. He showed them niggas, man, don't play with me. I'm not here to play no games. I'm getting paid big money to be here, and don't play with me. And Maureen Comey got up again. She all bent out of shape. It came back to Jason, and Jason was cool. He says, Your Honor, the government's argument has nothing to do. He broke it. That has nothing to do. What Maureen Comey said ain't got nothing to do with what this case law says. But he was more eloquent, right? In terms of legalese, Your Honor. The prosecution's, what she is saying, Your Honor, bears absolutely no resemblance to, and has no, okay, ain't no tripod. My man, I appreciate you, man. All right, Clay. What's up, Clay? I appreciate you, man. All right, follow me on YouTube. The podcast was sold. Yeah, I'm covering the Puffy joint. My man, I'm finna shut it down. I'm finna shut it down now. Appreciate you, Clay. Your Honor, what she's saying has absolutely no bearing on the precedents that her argument makes no sense, Your Honor. They took the 15-minute break, came back. Judge Submaranian gave them another crack at it. Maureen Comey was even more animated, more agitated, more frustrated, yelling, screaming, disrespectful in the courtroom. Jason Driscoll came back cool as a fan. Your Honor, you know, this is our position. This case law clearly states that. He told Judge Submaranian, if you allow this statement to come into evidence, you will be the first judge to ever do that. And after it was all over, Judge Submaranian, what's up, man? Thank you, man. Judge Submaranian ended up siding with Jason Driscoll, did not allow the evidence, and then Maureen Comey wanted to make one sentence, submit one sentence of it. He said, nah, none of it is gonna be added into evidence. And it was a win for Puff. And I just want to give a shout out to Jason Driscoll, man. I'm impressed, man. You the man. Shout out to you. Yo, if you ever want to come on my channel, man, just let me know. You just reconfirm for me that prior planning prevents poor performance, and you got to be ready when it's your time to shine. And I always talk about that on my channel. You got to stay ready. You understand? You got to be ready for your time, because life and opportunity don't wait on nobody, man. And opportunity is like a jealous woman. If you don't pay her no attention, she'll leave your ass. Integrity ain't never went out of style. Peace.